Dobry dzień, a witajcie na kanale. Today I'm going to be talking about the 3 transportation apps that you need to be using when traveling to Slovakia and especially the Bratislava region. Now, I've learned of these apps through living here, and I wanted to share them with you in case you ever decide to visit here or if you intend to move here at some point. And the first 3 apps are going to be the most common and probably the most useful. There's going to be a 4th optional app and then also a 5th honorable mention, I'll say. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first app is arguably the most common and useful one to get around the city and even to other cities. Now it's called Cestovné poriadky, and in English that is translated to something like travel arrangements or travel regulations, and it's often shortened to just CP. Now this app is really useful because it shows you all the bus routes and timetables, and you can even set your starting destination and your ending destination, and it'll show you which buses, trolleys, or trams that you have to take to get where you're trying to go. So this one is the most useful, and I use this one every single day, and I highly recommend this as something that you take advantage of when you come to Slovakia. The second app is probably just as useful as the first because it kind of pairs with it. It is called IDSBK, and it has a long name in Slovak, so I'm going to read it from my phone. It is Integrovaný dopravný systém v Bratislavskom kraji. So in English, that translates to integrated transport system in the Bratislava region. Now, this is the official, it's a government app. It's what you use when you are wanting to buy a ticket or to buy like a day pass, week pass, month pass, maybe for 3 months or all the way up to a year. This is really useful because sometimes you might not run into one of the ticket machines and you'll have to get on a bus or a tram or something and you just don't have time to go find the machine. Well, you can thankfully buy a ticket through the app. Now, one thing that I want to mention about using this app is that when using a card, you're going to want to have some kind of Euro-based or EU-based credit or debit card when using this app, because I've noticed that it doesn't accept US cards. So make sure that when you are here, and if you want to use this app, you have to have an EU-based credit or debit card that is going to work with this. But another thing that's cool about this app is that, for example, when you go to the ticket machines or to someone who's selling the public transport tickets, per 30-minute ticket, it's going to cost 90 cents. But when you buy that same ticket through the app, it is 81 cents. So I know that's a small difference, but you can save a little bit of money when you buy the tickets through the app. So it's extremely useful, and I use it just about every day as well. And for the third transportation app, it is called Ideme Vlakom. And in English, that kind of translates to meaning we're going by train or we go by train. Now, this app is good for buying train tickets, and it also shows you the timetable. So this one is kind of like the first 2, but in one for train tickets. So this one, I believe it's the same case where you're going to want to have an EU-based card when purchasing tickets through the app. Otherwise, you're going to want to go to Hlavná stanica, which is the main railway station, and just buy the train tickets in person. So again, this one is also very useful. Most useful when you're going city to city or region to region. This isn't really something to be used when you're inside of one city. It's more when you're, for longer travels. And if I'm not mistaken, you can even go to the Czech Republic, like buy certain tickets that are starting or ending in Slovakia to and from the Czech Republic through this app. So Ideme Vlakom is another very useful transportation app. So the first 3 were definitely the most important and the most useful when you want to get around in Slovakia. Now, this 4th one is kind of optional because it just depends on if you care to see this information, but it's called Trains Delays SK, and this one purely shows you on a map what trains are being delayed and where they are on their routes. So this one is really good for someone who maybe you're a little impatient or in a rush to get somewhere, or you just like to know about how long the train is going to take and why there is some kind of holdup. So trains delays SK is what you would want in that scenario. And the final app, which is the honorable mention of these, would just have to be Bolt. Now, Bolt is something similar to Lyft or Uber. It is primarily a rideshare service, but they also have electric scooters that you can rent, and they also have a food delivery service. So I think I'll do a separate video on this in the future that goes a bit more into Bolt. But that is probably a good option if you're just coming here for the day or maybe a couple days and you want to get around very quickly and you're willing to spend like a little bit more money and you don't necessarily want to use the buses. I mean, the buses are easy to use, they're cheap, but if you're wanting to get somewhere very quickly and don't necessarily want to call a taxi and want to use just something from your phone, then Bolt would be the service to use. It is basically identical to Uber and Lyft in the States. So that's gonna wrap up today's video. Let me know if you found any of this information useful or if you've already used any of these apps in the past. Maybe you live here or maybe you've traveled here before. And if you're trying to look for a good online service that lets you convert one currency into euros, like if you're gonna be coming here, a great way to support the channel is to use my Wise link down below. And what's cool about Wise is that you can exchange US dollars to euros or just about any other currency to euros. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.